Okay, so my talk is about enhancing small and mid-sized companies with GenAI. That's kind of what I like. I try to, more like from the customer side, working backwards, what do they need, and then technology is just like a kind of a tool to achieve that, what they want. And I think there is still a lot of opportunities in the range of small and mid-sized companies, so I want to explain that a little bit. And what we are trying at the moment. About me, yes, I'm Martin Mueller, and as you might can hear, I'm coming from Germany. Moved over like last year, February, totally loving it here. Amazing weather, very good food, nice people, having a very great time. A little family here. My daughter is 4 years old, the son is 1 year old. Really a time of our life. I'm an AWS solution architect, professional freelancer, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not working for AWS, but I'm doing stuff for clients on AWS for them. That's a lot of fun. And I'm an AWS community builder as well, so I kind of like knowledge sharing, and yeah, I like the idea of a community, and that's as well why I love to help Fabio and his team out with here, and that's pretty cool. Since 2020 I'm doing completely freelance. That's a lot of fun. Yeah. So, and because I'm working mainly or a lot with startups, usually not too bad funded, I really it got me, I'm really active in the startup and trying some project. Kind of 8 months ago, I joined a startup, HalloCasa, doing some other startups as well, but I think this one is worth to mention. So it's a property agency similar to Idealista. So that's a really cool experience, and everything was in AWS, of course, like in Docker containers and scaling and nice CI/CD pipeline and stuff like that. That's what I like, kind of building. And yeah, what I want to talk about, that's what I just mentioned, why I think there is still opportunity, still, I'm not sure how long, in small and mid-sized companies, like compared to other kind of companies. And how we do it with this low-code platform, how do we enhance them with the arcBot AI, and how I'm doing it more in technical details with AWS Bedrock. Yeah, it's fairly simple. I think it's fine to go into the technical here. And the demo, of course, and some reflecting. And feel free to interrupt, I kind of like very much to have it more interactive, It's totally cool. So yeah, that's a lot of text. Small and mid-sized companies. What else? I mean, alternative, you have startups or very big companies. Yeah. So startups, usually they are very good in using AI. You don't have so much people in a startup, so they are probably very good with AI already and leveraging that pretty much to the fullest. And big companies usually tend to have IT departments, which can do, at least they can do AI for them. Not sure if everyone else is doing it there, but they can incorporate this stuff really good, but those small and mid-sized, they're struggling a little bit, in my opinion. I'm very happy to hear your opinions on that. Usually they have a low budget, and they very often cannot even afford one developer, so they go to a freelancer, please do that for us. So yeah, and as well, they are very busy with their domain, so with their daily working, right? So that's kind of hard to try out with them stuff when they have to do business, right? So I think the other kind of companies are a bit more flexible by that. So, but what makes it hard to build a solution, a product, and a digital solution for those kind of companies? They are very different. They have different domains. Yeah, so building a reusable solution, it's tough because every company is a bit different. Yeah, so and that makes it expensive, and you have to do a solution for this company, for this company, and for this company, kind of, and just can reuse parts of it. So, but yeah, how to challenge that anyway? I kind of hinted a little bit with those low code or perhaps no code as well. Why not? I think low code is I think it makes more sense to go there first. But yeah, let's try it over low code. So what is low code? That usually means that you can, or they're advertising it with that, you can do more stuff with less time and less cost. So that has some it has some hidden problems there, yeah. So with this kind of approach, but it works out for a lot of kind of small, mid-sized companies, which I just described. And one platform of theirs is Ninox. Maybe you know the competitor Airtable is much more famous in the world, I guess. So Ninox is more active in the DACH area, but not just there. Yeah, so it's a cloud-based low-code platform for building your software solution in a really like drag-and-drop manner, mainly. Yeah, but you can do some coding as well to extend it there. Yeah, but you don't have to. I mean, just to get started, you don't have to know too much about programming or everything. So it's really interesting to see into that world because I come from high programming. So, you know, you use like TypeScript, perhaps LangChain, ShadCN, what we just saw here, or other frameworks. So it was a really cool experience like a year ago where I did something for a customer there to peek into that world low code. So it was really cool how quick you can set up stuff with low code. And yeah, so that's just what I'm describing here, what you can do, like fast implementation is cost effective, at least that are the promises, yeah? It's not, yeah, so you hit limitations there. Happy to have more conversation if you're interested in low code. And yeah, but it's, here that's like how you can work with it. Yeah, you have like your tables you can create that are like, that's the client table, it's a company table, you can create very easy like columns from a certain type, you know, and the record from the row is popping up and you can do some really easy and fast prototyping-ish. I mean, people using this in production, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it looks, to be fair, a little bit old from the UI design and everything. That's like right now what the Ninox developers are not so happy with. Yeah.
Can you compile what you create with Ninox?
Yeah, combine? Or?
Compile to have it on your own computer?
Unfortunately not. It's really just take the cloud offering for them. You cannot run it locally or something. Yes, it's stored in the cloud, basically, everything, yeah. But they have a quite generous free tier, you know, at least that. Yeah, that is just the edit mode, you know, really like drag and drop, the different kind of, you can put a text and a number, you know, there, and then you see it later, and you can do some coding here with those formula as well. Yeah, the coding is like their own developed language. It's a bit similar to JavaScript, so, but optimized for database queries, let's say. Yeah, so, and how we would like to enhance this low-code platform. So AI chatbot, or chatbot AI, our arcBot is similar to ChatGPT, and it helps usually those Ninox freelancers who are creating solutions for the customer to creating those tables we just saw here. I mean, under the hood is just JSON, you know, so they're using a JSON format, and LLMs know JSON very, very good. You know, they are perfect for that. So it's just really like create some JSON, push it to Ninox, and that's it. So, and it's really, really simple, actually. I can show it. I will show it. So, here, not here. Okay, that's a database you don't need for now. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Yeah, just we prepared some questions there. I mean, this is where kind of LLMs, they have a lot of knowledge in different areas. I don't know if you work in construction, you work in the chemistry area or creating pipes or whatever. You just, hey, create my data management or my tables for my pipe company or something like that. And it comes up with really cool suggestions. That's for trying out. Maybe for here, because it looks a bit nice, I take this kind of simple one, just like 10 tables and 5 fields. It's not so a production company that produces cars. And let's take this one. So it takes a bit, and I will start a stream response, actually, in this case. And yeah, it's kind of giving me back JSON, which I render. Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. And I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but that is ShadCN as well. It's a pretty cool UI front-end framework. It's kind of newish. We adjusted a little bit the colors, but it's pretty cool to do this AI with ShadCN. actually you have a cool project from Vercel where you can generate your front end with the AI. I don't know if you saw that. That's really crazy cool. Just describe it like similar to, I forgot the name. Midjourney. From Midjourney, you just describe your picture, and here you describe how your UI should look like, and it gives you a pretty cool UI there, and which you can start on iterating. Yes, you see, we are supporting some types. Yeah, so this is like a number. This is a date. This is a text, string, and so on. And as well, what we're doing is like referencing between those tables. So Ninox has a certain way of referencing many-to-many, one-to-many relations, yeah. And this is just what we're doing here. Yeah. Then we're generating. If you like it or not, give us feedback. We want to learn from you. Yeah, putting it here, and then you can merge it, and it goes up to here. I hope. Yeah. And then you can continue, you know, just say, hey, delete this table, add this other table, I don't know, delete service history, table there, sure, I didn't test it for a while, so, and especially not this use case here. And then it will just take this one here and apply the changes from there, and so this is kind of cool that we have kind of a caching here between. So we don't need context actually. That's pretty nice. We don't have those annoyances with context. It's really, really powerful. Don't bother with context. It's just a enhanced prompt. That's it. You know, no virtual vector database needed. So yeah, and I think now it should skip the service history there, and that looks good. Can do that, and then you can merge it, and we have a Ninox connector where you can put in your API credentials or access information to Ninox, and then it can export that to Ninox, and then you can see it there actually. And as I said, everything is just JSON, so that's pretty cool. So let's go back. Yeah, I said we're using AWS Bedrock, so it was a pretty cool opportunity for me to play a little bit around with that. I played around with OpenAI as well. It's pretty cool as well. What I kind of like, or start to like from Bedrock, it starts to be like a provider from different LLMs, and it feels like, oh, you can try this one, I put it together with this one, do this vector base here. It's kind of cool that it provides, and man, I'm waiting for what is it? Anthropic Cloud version 3, the big model, I forgot the name. It seems like even more powerful than ChatGPT 4.5, and I need his knowledge. So I hope they are. The smaller models are already available on AWS from Claude, yeah, but not the big ones. You need to do some VPN stuff because it's not allowed in Europe, or it's not available in Europe at the moment, but I hope it's soon, because I need it. Yeah, so AWS Bedrock, as I said, gives you a lot of choices. You can take a different provider. You can do some RAG stuff there, and some models supporting fine-tuning. And yeah, I kind of grew up in that environment, so it feels pretty native to me. Yeah, you can use the AWS console, the AWS SDK when you do TypeScript or something else, or Python, or just writing it down. And here is just how the Lambda is configured with the SDK. It's still this version 2.1. Hope I can update this soon to 3. And yeah, it's just some parameter you usually use there in my IDE. That's kind of nice. And of course you have the consoles there where you have like a more direct chat interface. And yeah, the architecture is like super easy, just a React app, a stream response Lambda, and then just calling the Bedrock API, cloud in this case. This is like really the meat, I think, is the prompt, because we are just, I cannot see that too much. Not sure if I can, let me see if I can. No. Here. More or less. it's just a little bit prompt enhancement, you know. So we had someone else kind of before me, before I helped with this client. They was like chunking multiple calls into each other, and I said, no, that has to go easy, yeah? So, and then let's try it in one prompt just. And it was really good. So, you know, Claude has some specifics how to use it with a prompt, and just saying, hey, some intents, and then I'm teaching it here. You cannot see too much, but a little bit. I'm just teaching it the schema, what Ninox is using. Please learn that schema. And yeah, it's working pretty good. Of course, it's not perfect. We have to deal with hallucination. And sometimes it's not just giving only JSON back, it's to say some text to it, you know, and that is we don't want. So that is challenging, but it's fine. We find solution, and we are not reliable on like, it's not a dead or alive scenario. It's just kind of creating those tables as a starting point. So that's fine. That is not going to production right now. When we want to go to with production with it, we have to see how we can make our guardrails a bit more strong. So far, it's fine. So, and so I cut this later. Yeah, and didn't mention it here, but I think what's really, really important. Okay, no. It's really, really cool because we are using here this Lambda. I'm doing a lot of Lambda unit tests, you know, and that's so helpful to iterate fast. I mean, unit tests are amazing, and in this case, it's helping me like a lot, you know. When we find a prompt which is not working so good, I just add it to my unit test, and so to a later point, I just can like run it and see if it's still working, you know. And to a certain degree, I can even make using a testing framework to validate the output from an LLM, yeah? So you might then, what? But they are just giving you always different answer. Yes, that's correct, that is challenging, but some stuff you can validate. For example, that you give me always JSON, yeah? So it has to be valid JSON. I can validate at least that, or I can validate, create a table for construction company that at least one table should, or a customer table that at least one is with name or something like that. You can make some loose assumption. And that's not too bad. At least that's iterate me fast. There are cool other approaches there, how you can automate testing with LLMs, which to explore, but for now that's fine. So, and yeah. Go on. Yeah, some reflecting here. Building with AWS Rock is fun. Definitely, that's pretty cool. And yeah, keep it simple. Yeah, if you can do it in a prompt, do it in a prompt. Just that. That's nice if that's possible, and depending on your use case. I'm doing another project where I'm actually using a rack, and this is like Elasticsearch as a rack and so, and LangChain as well to embed the stuff there, which is everything very interesting, but it's complex. It's getting complex there. So, and yeah, if you have possibility, do unit testing in which area, I think that's cool, if that's possible for you. And yeah, become a tester on app.arcbot.de. That would be awesome. Just testing it. You can do for free like a lot, and yeah, and just play around a bit with that. That's it.
Thank you, Marty. Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Martin. Perfect luck every time. I just have a question that might be a little bit off topics or more general. If
That's
it
fine.
is. I mean, to the best of your knowledge, what are the real solutions of AI built in companies that you mentioned? Like, I don't know, big, small. Oh, it's not small, big and mid-size maybe, other than chatbots basically. That is what I'm curious to know.
I think that is just a thought, but what are the real solutions, or what is that?
Yeah, what are basically the LLM models solving?
Yeah, that's
or not yet developed? I mean, do you have anything in mind other than the chatbots?
I think I can a little bit tell to that. Yeah, I mean, you already alluded to chat interfaces. I think that's like the main use case. We all hear companies throwing out all of their support kind of, or chat I think it was a Klarna or what, but you have those companies throwing out like a lot people to have this interactable chat interface, which feels really amazing, really good to answer your question and stuff like that. Definitely that is one of the first use cases, and definitely indirectly. If you are a company and you are aware of AI, you should give your developers those tools, because it's just enhancing them so much. Yeah, Copilot Chat, for example, it's really powerful, or other LLMs to use, and encourage your people to work with them, I think. And what else? Really what those tools are good for to solve, I guess, where you have text context and you can get some information out of it, I think. As a knowledge base, I think it's getting more and more interesting, because it's way faster to ask the AI and get some answers about your company, probably when it's a big company, to get back some information there. So people start to build some company internal knowledge bases. Yeah, you can ask your question and, who did this? How did our marketing last year going, or what? Which person did that? So, and you're just writing that and get your answer back. I think that is kind of stuff, but probably much more. So, yeah.
Thank you. And the last one, what do you expect of the near future, maybe in 2-3 years, about usage of the kind of local or private LLMs, or the general ones? What would be the trend toward? Is it going to be like ChatGPT type, or more secure private ones?
I guess it means right now more the public ones, more or less. It's getting crazy, the race between them. Every week is like, oh, we have so much more context now. This is now better benchmark, and that's going really crazy, and I don't see any world where that slows down. Will be interesting in terms of those open source models. It doesn't seem but I was like thinking in the past that those open source models may be getting more higher in value, but I guess the problem is still the hardware. So running the inference or the training on it, it's still quite expensive, it seems. So it seems like a little bit the open source is a little bit struggling regarding that. But what will be very interesting soon as well is you want AI on your phone, having more local models, to doing some cool stuff, or on the edge, the really edge, in your IoT devices. Stuff like really recently, I think Apple is now joining with Google, and to do some Gemini stuff with the iPhone, I guess, and finally make Siri useful or something like that. Very interesting how to see that, how that works out. But it's kind of, if the old-fashioned ML where people train their own models, I think that reduced already. But I don't know. I just wanted to know your opinion. Ask me next week again, and probably totally change. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. So more questions for Martin? Yeah, of course.
Hello. My question is more on the technical side. So you showed streaming. Of course, you are expecting a structured answer for your database. How are you handling parsing the structured data in streaming mode?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I found a library which allows me to complete the JSON before it's actually complete. So it makes some cool guessing kind of, to complete the JSON, even if it's not completed. And that helps. I'm just rendering that basically. Yeah.
What library?
Yeah. I will post it in the chat. If not, let me remind me, please. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Happy to do that.
Hello, thank you and congratulations. When you were showing the database creation, is it creating also the tables, connectors, and the organization of the relation between the tables?
Yes, exactly. That's, without that, it's not useful, really.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And second question, can you obtain this scheme of tables and connection extracted in order to use it in another organization of the tables?
Yes, exactly. What is already there, we fetch it and store it in the cache, like what you saw, and then just can iterate on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hi there. How many prompts would you gauge are in your program, and how much of the development work has been prompt-oriented versus basic CRUD and, solving?
So you asked how many prompts? One. So it's one prompt, just, a bit longer now, but I think it's okay. And that's a good question. Mainly of the time is about this prompting, but I reduced it by a lot with those unit tests, because you don't want to test again and again and again manually. So it's pretty cool to have those unit tests. And I guess it's now like half perhaps, like UI stuff, and then prompting. So but I love to automate stuff and iterate how I can make it easier. Could
you say more words about the development cycle that you perform while unit testing and adjusting the prompt?
I can kind of the beginning was a lot of learning. Like more the beginning, how the cloud prompts kind of should look like. So because they have this speciality with those tags, that you have to put in important information in tags. So that was okay. And actually it's quite cool when you have a community where you can ask questions. So I'm part of AWS communities with other GenAI people. They gave me really cool feedback how I can improve stuff and what should I try. And so that's really, really helpful. So definitely always ask around when you have a challenge. And on that, so we have some engaged tester there, I would say. And when they do encounter a problem with a prompt, I am capable of extracting that prompt. Either they sending it directly in our Discord, it's cool to have a chat platform where you can communicate with each other, or I can look into our logs and get this and make it part of the test unit. So when I want to introduce a new feature, I'm writing a test for it first, usually, and then that test then fails, and then I adjust the prompts there and make that test not failing or less failing, not so often failing. Mainly that works. So I think it probably will work even better with newer versions there. It's it's even complicated, those JSON schema and setting up those tables with many-to-many for human. Because they have some as well. Ninox has some special trucs there, tweaks or whatever, how you can do this many-to-many and one-to-many stuff, So that was even hard for me to understand, and usually for everyone else. So really surprised how good it gets this without providing examples. It's just the JSON I'm teaching it, and it gets it quite good. It's good in JSON in general. I think that's more the trick.
And you don't have a feedback step?
From the community, from the user using it. Or what do you mean by feedback? And those little feedback buttons, we're storing the feedback. When it's like the sump is down, you can write into, hey, what was wrong with that? We don't use it so much at the moment, but we plan to, because if you ChatGPT is doing a lot of feedback, and that's pretty cool. How you can incorporate feedback, and even perhaps how you can automate this incorporation. But we are not there yet. So that would be cool as well.
Thank you.
I have a question about your Bedrock experience. So first of all, is the data, so if you use Amazon Bedrock, is the data yours, or they share it behind to Claude and the other companies? It stays on Amazon?
Sorry, the what exactly?
So the data that you send to the model, if you use Amazon Bedrock, is it yours, or is it readable by somebody else?
We don't send any data to the model, or what do you mean?
In general. In general, if you use Amazon Bedrock models, is it the same as calling OpenAI public endpoint, or is it your private cloud?
Yeah, I think it's pretty the same. Yeah.
And in terms of performance, say, if you were to compare with using Claude directly API versus Bedrock.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
I didn't use the Cloud Developer AI so far. I just use the AWS one. It's more easy, kind of, for me. But I don't know. It would be interesting if there are some advances there, or some differences between like directly using Claude, I guess, or just over the provider. But I would guess it should be similar. But yeah.
And sorry, one last bit. You picked Claude out of all available foundation models.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, good one. Because to that time when we started it was the best one available, as the best one which was available with AWS, and my client wanted to do AWS. And for me, an amazing opportunity to play around with that. Yeah. Because of that, actually. Yeah. I mean, that was like the first approach. We was open as well to use OpenAI if that not works out, but it works out quite good. So to try Bedrock. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I had a quick question that's related. Do you know the relative time to first token that you get from Claude?
So sorry, what was the token?
So when you send a response to Claude,
yes,
and it streams its first token to you,
yes,
do you have a measurement in your head about how long that usually is?
I mean, that is a little bit dependent on the Lambda cold start as well. If you know, there's this cold start from Lambda. If you don't have that, I think it's like less than a second. But if you have this Lambda cold start, it's definitely I guess it's more. I guess like 3 or so, or 4 or something like that. Yeah. It would be interesting how to improve that, but I think it's fine for us now.
I was just wondering, in what way are you using AWS Lambda for unit testing? Can you be more specific on that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to share more. I think I use it a little bit. Kind of maybe unusual way, because what you can do with Jest, if you is just not use the handler function like just as a function. It's just a function. I mean, there's nothing more to it. And with Jest, you can test functions, and that's basically it. I mean, you need to provide your credentials when you're using other services there before you run the unit test there, but yeah, that's really quick, I don't need to deploy the Lambda actually, but then that's maybe, that works mainly pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, but what would be the difference between that and just, since you are just running an API, a cloud to AWS Bedrock or OpenAI, whatever, why not just do async calls everywhere? Because it will be close. So basically, you are using AWS Lambda to be able to call several functions at a time to test them.
And we're calling just one function. We have just one Lambda really with one prompt in it. And you need a prompt and something executing the prompt. It can be your local machine. When you do the unit test, it's your local machine. Or when you want to deploy it to the cloud, it's the Lambda is doing it. So that's just why we take the Lambda there, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
A little detail on line number 2. There is no A in your name. Is it
isn't it?
True or a mistake?
Okay. No, I think this one. I don't know. I never know. This one here, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was the first company where I started. It was like a UK company. And they didn't care too much, because usually I have this weird dots there, and they created this account there for me, and then okay. So true.
Thank you.
Thank you.